about to tell you, I haven't shared this story publicly, but I figured it was time. When I gave my life to the Lord at 33 years old, my dad and I had been working together for about 15 years. It was a steamy, hot, and humid day in Jonesboro, Arkansas. Inside the dried-in house where we were putting up sheetrock, the air was dead and stagnant. The distinct smell of gypsum and drywall mud hung thick in the air. We had one of those huge squirrel cage fans that squeaked way too loud with each revolution, but at least offered some movement of air. When Dad decided to break for lunch, we made the call to take our chances outside to try to, hopefully, just maybe, catch some kind of occasional breeze in the shade. Some days we would leave and go eat fast food, with the main reason being to sit in the AC for a half an hour and cool off. But on this particular day, Dad decided that he and I would stay on the job site. I had no idea he had something he had been waiting so long to share with me and was praying for the right moment. Typically, there would be other subcontractors working on the same house we were, but that day, I don't recall anyone else being there. The only sound was the familiar songs on the radio from the local Christian station that Dad always had playing. My father was 59 years old, with salt and pepper hair and a bit of scruff on his face. Especially in the Arkansas summers, his face and arms became a deep dark brown. He grabbed a sleeve of saltine crackers and a bottle of lemonade, while I got my bag of Funyuns and a Mountain Dew. I remember our main course was splitting a can of Vienna sausages. Just after we sat down outside on a stack of sheetrock, Dad put his food down, looked at me, and said, "Son, I need to tell you something." He paused as if he was mustering up some strength, then continued, "Years ago, when you first started playing music, I knew something was different about your decision. You don't just pick up a guitar when you're 19 and start playing, singing, and writing songs. Then you began playing in bars and started to go down a different path. But your mom and I just kept trusting and believing that God had a plan for your life. I've never told you this, but when you were a baby, we had you dedicated to the Lord at church. As we walked down the aisle toward the front, you started screaming and making a lot of noise. The pastor smiled and joked to the congregation, 'Man, Zach's got a strong set of lungs on him. Probably going to be a singer someday.' And after everyone laughed, the pastor's face grew serious, as if he was listening to a voice that no one else could hear. Zach, he looked at your mom and I and stated, 'This child will be a voice for his generation.'" Hearing the pastor's word from my dad, after a moment of feeling speechless, I asked, "How is it that at 33 years old, you've never told me this story?" He answered, "Well, I didn't want to put any pressure on you. I didn't want to give you something you had to live up to. But when you started playing music, I knew God's plan was somehow about to start. And now I believe He has allowed you to walk through all of this to give you a platform to share your story with the world, to help so many others." As I reflect back on the pastor's prophecy, I'll be honest with you. There are days when I feel undeserving and unworthy of those words. But then I'm reminded of how God has been using broken people, messed up people, for a long time to do His work. So don't let anybody ever tell you that you're not qualified or not worthy to do what God is calling you to do. If He has a plan for my life, then He has a plan for your life. The reason I'm sharing this story is not to point out anything about me. I'm certainly no chosen one. The word from the pastor has never made me feel special at all. But I want everyone who comes out to hear my songs to know the truth of Jeremiah 29:11. "For I know the plans I have for you, says the Lord. They are plans for good and not for disaster, to give you a future and a hope." That is true for anyone who calls upon the name of the Lord. Just like I finally discovered at 33 years old, after years of trying to outrun my guilt and shame, after straying far from the life I knew I was always supposed to be living. Taking a deep breath, grateful to get through my first time of telling this personal story, the band and I went into playing Plan for Me. After experiencing the gracious response from the folks gathered that evening in Georgia, I knew I had to keep sharing about that moment with my dad every night I stand on stage, for as long as the Lord leads me. I know I have a responsibility that comes with that prophecy to share the truth of Jesus with those who will listen. Yet on that day, when I heard my father speak those words for the first time, spoken about me when I was just a baby, I had no idea of the amazing plan God was about to unfold for me and my family. Looking into Dad's weary, still blue eyes, somehow I could see all His prayers for me throughout my entire life, especially those born out of the pain of the past 15 years.
To keep listening to this audiobook for free, click the link in the description. It will take you to a free Audible trial where you can listen to this and many other books for free for 30 days.